Okay, so this is the first ever Fantom Podcast, and thank you for listening and watching. And I just want to welcome two very special guests in my first ever podcast. So, guest number one, we got. Well, I don't know how to introduce you. He's got his own podcast called
Off the Script.
Off the Script, yep. And he hosts with Jermaine. So Joseph's been training my gym for about 2-3 years, and obviously he works for Ultimate Fitness. And I asked Joe to come on because he is a huge bodybuilding fan, and he probably knows more than me, which it's no mean feat, especially with the up-to-date modern bodybuilding. So I thought I'd ask for Joe's input, and obviously he was at the show Sunday. So welcome Joe Flynn to the show.
Pleasure to be on, Si. Thank you for inviting me on.
You're welcome. And next guest, we got Tim. We got Tim, who I've known for probably about 10 years, isn't it, Tim?
Yeah, it's been a good while.
So Tim, I've been sort of helping Tim out with his competition prep for probably about I think it was 2015, our first prep.
2015?
That's when I last competed, and it was your first show, yeah. So Tim has come fresh off the 2 victories from Sunday. He won the first ever Ultimate Fitness Classic, under 95 kilo bodybuilding, and also the pro class. So yeah, welcome Tim Jones to the first ever Fantom Podcast.
So good, man. Let's go.
Yeah. So yeah, like we said before, you competed 2 days ago, and you're not sort of come off the diet. Have you sort of stayed on track?
Yeah. Generally, it's something that I like to do myself. As I do love bodybuilding, it's a big part of my life. It's something that I find helps me to keep on track. Just keeping the meals in. I throw in the little niceties like the cakes and these little bits here and there, but keeping track of meals is a big help to me, to be honest.
So do you eat the same meals as you were when you were dieting, or you just like more value, more of it? So I know the last few weeks we dropped the carbs right down, didn't we?
Yeah, I still, to be honest, still got the rice in. Just throwing in a bit of more potato, a bit more value into the meals, really. But generally, it stays the same. I think coming off show, one thing I've learned after doing more and more shows is the digestive system takes a little bit of time to
adjust.
Just so, it's one of them things where generally I find it's easy just to ease yourself back in. I'm never a big fan of coming off stage and then going straight into off-season like I do these days.
Yeah, I've made that mistake myself. I mean, I remember one year I did the British, this was back in like the EFBB day, so before the UKBFF, and I did Wembley as a light heavyweight, and I think I over-dieted for that show, and for me, light heavyweight is like under 90 kilo, and I think I weighed in about 83 kilos, severely over-dieted, took too many diuretics, and then I'd lost like 9 pounds overnight taking Lasix, which is the strongest diuretic. And so for me as a light heavyweight, that was a really lightweight. Then the next day I booked a holiday to Tenerife, and pigged out like a fat bastard on holiday, and came back a week later, 3.5 stone, or 16.5 stone.
Wow!
All the weight had come to my face. Face was like a TV. Honestly, it was like a big square, a big melon. Looked like a sumo wrestler. From looking like an AIDS victim to like looking like a sumo within a week. And it was horrible. My ankles started swelling up on the plane, and it was horrible, man.
Yeah, it's a recipe for disaster, isn't it? Because your whole off season's just gone down the fucking pan then, because you got to strip all that weight that you just put on back off.
Most of it was water, but I was just eating for the sake of it because I knew I could eat and not have to watch what I ate. But it was a lesson learned, and a painful lesson.
Oh man!
So obviously you competed Sunday, so I want to talk about the show, our first ever Ultimate Fitness Classic, which I think I was talking to Joe earlier, major success. Everyone in the gym was like buzzing about it. I think it motivated a lot of people to sort of hopefully to compete for next year. Jose, what did you think of the show? First impressions. I know you've been to many shows before.
Yeah, I've been to a lot of different shows with different federations, PTA, Fitex, a couple of the natural shows, the Arnolds last year, so the Two Bros Amateur there as well. And I think the show was organised really well. by yourselves and by NFM as well. The way the classes were set out was all good, especially it flowed very well considering, some of the classes were individual, just one person in the class. That class didn't get pushed to the side. The athlete who was competing still was allowed to, they were given their time that they put all that work in for, which was awesome to see. The production value was quality. Stage line was great. Stage was great. Yeah. And there wasn't too much going on in the background.
The standard was good as well. The overall standard.
Yeah. We talked about that in the wrap up video.
Tim, what did you think to the show? Obviously, you've been to many shows, many different federations.
I think it's good with the timings. Myself as a competitor, one thing I will say is with timings, it is a massive thing as an athlete that I've noticed. Being an athlete that's competed with other federations, PCA, etc. Sometimes you can go to a show and the timings can be that off, and it does mess up your whole plan because your meals are going back. You don't know when you're going on stage. You don't know when
you're pumping up and you're not pumping up. Yeah,
it goes all over the place, to be honest. And it was generally run pretty well in terms of timing, how they made the athletes feel welcome. The way it was put together. It was very well, man.
Yeah, I mean, for me, obviously, helping like 5 competitors, obviously running the show, helping backstage, handing trophies out, trying to film the whole thing. It was hard. It was very hard, and but it was good buzz. I really enjoyed it. It was nice to have our own show, and obviously a lot of the members from the gym were there supporting and obviously competing on behalf of the gym. So really good to see. Great atmosphere, and I love the way the tables were set out, because normally when you go to an auditorium, it's a bit formal, but because it's on tables, it's more of an event, isn't it? Do you know what I mean? It's just more. I don't know. It's more social.
It was good.
The layout
from a spectator's point of view, because I spent most of the day in the audience.
We got you on stage as well.
Yeah. That was fun. That was, to be fair. I'll talk about that in a bit.
So from cheeky most musculars.
You just caught me off guard. I'm just there clapping away, and it just looks that way. Maybe. But no, as a spectator, you had a couple of the trade stands there, and so you had that opportunity to, get a bit of shit food in you, which was good for the athletes after the show. Celebrate. It's nice, with the cookies and with the fresh meals there. If you wanted a healthy option, get your coffee and.
Did you manage to have any of the food there?
No, did I? I bought.
I know Ricky ordered a pizza.
Yeah, he did. So did Syed ordered a pizza as well. Yeah, I had a slice. But no, it was really good, especially comparing it again to other shows. Where some venues you can't even bring food in; they don't allow it.
Yeah, it was quite relaxed, wasn't it?
It was relaxed, but in a good way. It didn't cheapen the experience, if you get me. It still felt like a special event, which it was. Being the first Ultimate Fitness Classic.
Yeah, it's nice to hear feedback, obviously from a spectator, obviously, and from a competitor's standpoint. How do you think the show could have been improved in any way? Obviously, any feedback's good. Obviously, we will be putting on next year, providing we can get another venue now. But that's another. We'll talk about that in a bit. Did you hear what happened, Tim?
I heard what happened. I've seen obviously the comments and everything. So, what can I say, man?
Do you want to sort of shed light on what happened to the viewers, people listening?
Basically, what can I say? Obviously, as athletes, we've all competed in the show. Some athletes haven't been too happy with the placings, as well as the coaches. And obviously, it's been kicked off that there's been unfair judging. They haven't placed right. They feel they've been done injustice. And obviously, they've verbally abused some of the NMF staff and other athletes by the sound of things. So generally, it's went
also the staff for the venue staff as well.
Yeah, so that's the best way to put it. It's out of order, really.
You know what? I've been to like many shows over like 25 years, 30 years, and I've never seen anything like that. Honestly, I've seen a few pissed off, but nothing like where they're sort of verbally attacking the judges and like even the photographer. Do you know what I mean? It's just and like saying like we got 100 people outside. That's why there's just no need for it. And I could see it almost kicking off. It could have got a lot worse if it wasn't controlled. I could see it like tables and chairs and like going in the,
the tables wouldn't have been a good idea in that situation.
Yeah. But that's sort of one thing that sort of put a damper on the events. But overall, I think everyone had a great time. I think they enjoyed it. They enjoyed watching our first show. The Standard, obviously supporting our own competitors. That was really good. I think backstage, I mean, I know the venue wasn't the biggest, so backstage could have done with more room. I don't know if you came backstage, Joe, but it was a bit tight backstage and having to sort of share with the ladies as well. That was, but you got what you've given it. Yeah, I mean, there was limited space to the access to what we had backstage, so we made do what we had. What you did.
It was tight. I ain't gonna lie.
Yeah, it was tight. It was good the way they did. The side down facing the stage on the right hand side. They had that sort of pathway for all the athletes, so you could chill out there and pump up. So that was good. That gave a bit of space because it did get a bit tight backstage. But apart from that, I mean, that's just nitpicking. I'm just talking from a competitor's standpoint how the show could be better. Because a lot of people do like to go backstage before they go on and just chill out and just, put their feet up and relax, go through the routines. So it is nice to have that space.
Small point as well. I think the temperature was really good in the venue.
Yeah, I thought it was quite hot actually.
Okay, it's probably because you was running around there.
Yeah.
I think so. I did more cardio on Sunday than he has done for the past 10 years.
So he's got his steps in for definite
that day. For the whole week. Yeah. So let's go through some of the classes then. Obviously, let's go to your class first, Tim. So there was first class you did. There was four competitors. Mm-hmm. Obviously, Femi from our gym as well. He was in your class. He was the first time competing, and there was two other guys. When you were backstage, and you had obviously saw who was in your class, what did you think? Did you have any sort of doubt, or did you feel confident?
Say when I'm backstage, generally, I just try to keep a closed mind. I try not to open my mind too much to what's going on with people. But generally, I think the standard was quite high. So I think any bodybuilder that says that they don't look at other competitors is lying, because it's something that we definitely do. But generally, the standard was quite high. But I suppose knowing what I was bringing in terms of conditions, that kind of kept me level-headed. It kind of kept me in a good way. So that did help a lot, but the standard was quite high. So you're looking around, knowing that you're going to go against these guys. It's going to be a little bit of a war.
And also, leading up to the show, there was a bit of like friendly rivalry between you and Femi. Obviously, Femi's first show, and obviously no one's seen him compete before. Obviously, I've been prepping him, so I sort of knew how he was looking. Obviously, I knew how you were looking, and everyone said, "Oh, it's." Who's going to be Tim or Femi?" So that was like, and for me, it was hard, obviously, prepping you both. And obviously, I want you both to win. But ultimately, it's the best man won. And, Femi has got, obviously, he's got a great future. He needs more time. I think, that's the first time you learn from your first show how much you need to improve when you compare to seasoned competitors like yourself. And obviously, you expose where he needs to bring his weak areas up, especially conditioning. I mean, yours conditioning was one of the best in the whole show, especially like from the lower back, glutes, hamstrings, the obliques. It was proper shredded. So, and Femi, no disrespect to Femi, but he didn't have that sort of maturity in his muscles. He had the size, had the structure, but when it comes down to it, it's close. Obviously, your conditioning just stood out a mile. Did you think that yourself? Looking at
I think, like I said, he's got a great physique. I've always said to Femi, he's got a great physique. I've always said, coming in as a first timer sometimes, because he hasn't got that longevity of training that someone like myself or someone that's been training for a long time has had. That muscle maturity and density isn't always going to be there. That's something that I believe comes over years.
Comes with years, and it comes with dieting over and over again.
But definitely, I do think in years to come is going to be a dangerous force to be reckoned with. Obviously, this time the condition weren't there. But if you can narrow that down, it'll definitely be a force. You reckon?
I think he was good from the front. Back he probably needed I reckon he probably another 2-3 weeks just to come in 10% harder. But first show and first time working with him, it's hard to gauge. But I was very happy the way he looked. Yeah. What about you, Joe? How do you think?
Yeah, obviously, I guess the goal for Femi going into the show was to be the champion in the first timers class, which he blew everyone away, to be honest. Which shows that potential of where he can be 2-3 years from now. Whereas Tim's there, top 3 in the NABA Britain and so on and so forth. Tim's had that stage experience before. He's got in that sort of shape. I think personally, this was a lot better and massively improved compared to 2019 for you.
Yeah.
Is that when you last competed, Tim? 2019.
Yeah, I did the British.
And we did the NABA England, didn't we?
Yeah, done the NABA England, then the PSA British, and come third in the class 3 there. That was my last show before this year. 2019.
So that's 3 years ago, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Flown by. But yeah, I think Tim's condition reigned supreme. That dense muscle really came through, especially really compared to every other class.
Especially from the side pose as well. Like the quarter turns, that's when you just
glutes were popping.
Yeah, your glutes were. I don't know if you watched the video yet, Tim. I've uploaded the video tonight on YouTube. I think I've tagged you in it. If you get a chance, watch the video because it's got both classes on. Yeah, so just watch back and just look how nasty that condition was. And for anyone else, please, I'll put a link in for the YouTube video. If you want to look at the show, it's about an hour long, so just over an hour long. But
do it now, come on.
Yeah, let's talk about another class. Let's talk. What class shall we talk about next? Who else was competing? Let's talk about the classic shorts class. That's when there was a bit of
controversy.
Yeah, I'd say. Did you see that class, Tim?
I've seen the class.
Yeah. So we just talk about to the audience, the guy who won that class. To me, he didn't have a classic physique. He was like a short bodybuilder, very dense, very thick, very conditioned, but he didn't have the structure, what I call classic physique, as opposed to the other two. The middle guy who came second, he had the classic physique, probably wasn't in condition, and obviously Harps, who I prepped, he had a combination of everything, but he was just out-muscled. So I can see where they would have placed the winner, but to me, he didn't have classic physique. What do you think?
Definitely agree with that. What I mean? Criteria-wise, it's a strange one with the classics because I've noticed recently sometimes it does seem to be going either way. It seems to be getting, classic guys are going into bodybuilding and the bodybuilder looks coming into classic. It's kind
of trying to squeeze down to that weight. Trying to squeeze down.
Joe?
Sorry.
What you reckon, Joe, about it with the classics and the bodyweight? You don't think it's?
I think it's getting a bit silly, really. You've got guys who've got potential who've got that big frame, 4-round muscle bellies, who are restricting themselves because they're getting some sort of success in the classic class, rather than pushing on and progressing, which there could be very good open bodybuilders. And then you've got guys who are sort of already established pros who are now deciding to come down into the classic class, maybe because they've not had the success they probably thought they would do.
And also classics more popular now, isn't it? Do you think?
Definitely. And some people
also say maybe from a health point of view, you're not having to push the weight and obviously get the gear and the food to get up to that weight needed to be a competitive open bodybuilder.
Yeah.
So we'll have to wait and see.
I think overall, the cream will always rise to the top in whatever division it is. But each to their own. But I do think it's getting a bit, And
I think some people when they do diet down to a classic, they lose that pop and they just look stringy, and so you know what I mean. It's not always a better look for them, even if they are more competitive. They don't look better.
Yeah.
It'd be like me trying to squeeze down to 80 kilos. It's just I wouldn't be able to do it. I look like a beanpole. Let's talk about Kai and the men's physique class.
Yeah.
So Kai is the men's. They call it men's beach body, which I think is a bit. I prefer men's physique, but let's call it men's physique. He won the beginners men's physique, and he was really tough. I mean, I've been prepping Kai since January, and since he came to the gym about a year and a half, 2 years ago, he told me it was his dream to stand on stage. And Kai's like very hardworking. He loves bodybuilding. He loves men's physique, and it was his dream. So I thought, I get a lot of people asking me all the time, "Could you help me?" But but he was like very persistent, and he came up to me and goes, "Look, I really want to do. I want to do your show. I want to do your UF Classic." I thought, you know what? If you want to do it, we'll start now. So we started January, and as you can see, he's lost 24 kilos in 24 weeks, and the last probably 4 or 5 weeks, probably 4 weeks, you've really noticed a difference in his physique. Obviously, you've seen him down the gym, probably both of you, haven't you? So what do you think to Kai then in the future?
Kai came in way better condition than I thought it was, because when I first seen him, he doesn't look nothing like how he looks now. That's one thing I didn't honestly think he was a shocker. So when you look at someone, when I looked at him at the show that he did the week before, that alone, I looked at his condition, I thought, wow, this is the kind of condition Kai's bringing, because I never believed that he could have brought that kind of condition. So that's one thing I will say. It's a surprising card. Definitely a surprising card. He is.
Yeah, and you don't know until sort of really comes down and strips the fat off what they look like. I was really happy for Kai. I was really happy for him.
Same. I think the whole gym was, to be honest.
Yeah, because he's such a humble guy. I mean, like you are, Tim. I mean, you don't think you're better than you are, even though you are very good. I mean, there's always you've got that humbleness about you, which Kai's got. He's always very grateful for the help I've given him, the support he gets from the gym. So that was really good that he won this class. And don't forget, he's unassisted as well, so he doesn't take any anabolics, nothing like that. And so that's obviously. So I didn't say if it goes in his favor or against his favor, because he had that fresh muscle. He didn't get that quite as lean as some of the other competitors, but he had a nicer appearance on his physique.
Yeah, but that's success without it early on is always a good sign, really. So he's got plenty of room to improve, room to grow, and he trains his ass off anyway. And he's very consistent, so I'm sure he'll do really well in the future as well.
I'll tell you a little funny story about Kai, because I think it was the day before the show. He says, "Do I cut my water out?" I said, "No, still have a glass of water with every meal." Yeah, and he goes, "Okay." I said, "I'm going to go buy a glass now." Because it doesn't have to be a glass; it could be a cup of water. he thought he had to drink it out of a glass.
You're a joker.
Okay, I'll go and buy a glass now. I said, "No, just get a cup of water or a bottle. It doesn't have to be drank out of a glass." Bless him. Yeah, so I think a couple of years. I mean, when we were at the UKBFF show the week before, he just stood out a mile. He just, even though the judges, which I knew, they said, "Look, he's going to go far if you point him in the right direction." And he's got a bright future. He's just got that look on stage, that pro look on him. So we will see.
That's one thing I noticed about him. His stage presence, his massive smile, that energy is.
Yes.
For a guy that is a first timer,
makes a difference.
I don't normally see that kind of energy, so I'll give him that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that confidence on stage. Yeah, I think he's been watching a lot of Ryan Terry videos, a lot of YouTube videos. You can see that's the way he poses as well. Because when he competed the week before, he got they kept on telling him not to pose too hard. He's got a really good Christmas tree, hasn't he? So when he turns around, he's like tenses his lower back. You can see all the striations. And they kept on saying to him, "Don't tense your lower back, don't tense your lower back. We can see you got a Christmas tree, stop tensing." Well, that's all the reason why you're fucking training for, to show your Christmas tree.
Yeah. That's the thing with the class, though, isn't it? It's a bit feminine, sort of. The criteria is on the more feminine side.
You can say gay.
Well, but no, overall he looked really well, especially considering the start point.
Definitely, yeah. And he only weighed 78 kilos, which he looks a lot bigger.
Yeah, he does.
Think, you know. And Kai's got no weak parts, even for like men's physique. He's got big legs. You can see the big calves hanging out within the trunks. So he's still got the calves. Who else was in the show? Parvinder.
Yeah.
Men's
brought the condition.
Masters. Yeah. I didn't agree with second placing. I had him a clear winner in that class. Like the condition, the taper, the shoulders to waist ratio, the overall look. I had him winning that. If you were judging just the physique, his posing could have been better, but I think they judging the physique, and I had him a clear winner. What did you guys think?
Good, Tim.
Definitely think so. You know what I mean? In terms of like how it was his physique, how he presented it. Definitely would say the same thing, to be honest. But like we say, subjective. It's a bodybuilding game, isn't it?
Yeah, I think as well, you know, he wasn't as high energy as some of the other athletes on stage. And
they probably milked it, didn't they? Their time on stage. Yeah. And that's one thing Parv, you know, I think he knows this. He's not a natural mover on stage.
Yeah, eccentric sort of.
Yeah, he looks a bit sort of stiff, but I think that just comes with time and confidence.
Yeah.
But yeah, he has done a few shows now, so that's no excuse. So Parv, if you're listening, get opposing coach or watch some YouTube videos. Who else was there now? We got all right, Tim. Okay, well, let's talk about the your final class with also the overall class. So we had
Leon.
We had Leon. No, the class before that, the overall.
Oh right.
Yeah. So we had Daz Bohr. Obviously, Daz Bohr, former IFBB professional, super heavyweight bodybuilder, British champion 2012, I think. So you're up against him, who made his first comeback after 9 years, and you're obviously the other class winners. So was you confident going to that class how you were gonna fare?
I remember seeing Daz Bohr and thinking, when I first started bodybuilding back in the Temple days, seeing him in Nottingham and thinking, this guy was an absolute beast. So it's so crazy to think I'm competing against a guy that I used to watch on YouTube, and I used to watch compete and everything. It's a bit crazy. So it's one of the things. Isn't it? It's something that does happen, but that class, that's one thing I must say. I was looking around and I'm looking at these guys, I'm thinking, which way is this going to go?
And the guy that won the under 105 kilo, I forget his name, really good structure. If he would have come down probably 10 kilos, he would have done some damage, but he was nowhere near in your condition. But he had a lot of potential. I don't know if he's obviously dieting for another show, so he's probably 6 weeks out or whatever, but he could have been very good.
He works with Jamie the Giant as well. He's one of his clients.
Yeah.
So
I've seen him compete before. I can't think where, but it's trying to think who else was in the class. Then you had the guy in the under 85 kilo class. I think he was Iranian or Persian. He was shredded, bit narrow, really good legs. But I judged him at the full ball. He was at the full ball show a few weeks ago, wasn't he, Tim?
Yeah, I remember him doing quite well there.
He looked. I thought he looked better at the full ball show Derby 3-4 weeks ago. He was absolutely shredded. I think he didn't look as hard as today. Whether you looked a lot harder than he did, and obviously you were a lot thicker up top than he had very good legs, but obviously you got better balance. So he got second, didn't he? He got second.
Yeah, he did come second. So he looked good. He's one of them that I was actually looking at backstage, just thinking, you know what, he's coming in pretty good condition. I remembered him from before. I believe that he was in the pro show last time at the full ball.
Yes. Yeah.
He came just for the pro men's bodybuilding. He wasn't doing amateur that day, I don't believe. Okay, so I do remember he did come in pretty well. That's one thing.
Yeah, he was absolutely shredded. Yeah, but well, you done that. You won that class. Yeah. So how did it feel?
You know what? That was surreal. I cannot explain how that feeling felt, to be honest, because even the gap in between the derbies, to going from the amateur show to then do the pro men's, I haven't actually done like that before myself. So the protocol and the way of doing things, I was a bit worried because I was thinking in the morning, you know, I look like this. Am I going to be able to keep this look until the evening? Obviously, I've only got a couple of meals, got a little bit of water. Am I going to go flat? Like the amount of things that was going through my head. And then obviously I've just thought, let's go for it. So we've got on stage and we've got told that we've got the win. I was thinking, wow, did I manage to keep it? Did I manage to, keep that look? So it was a big shock.
I think he's got to play it safe, haven't you? And the more things that you mess about with, the more that you can have a rebound from. I think so. That's what happened to the other guys. They sort of obviously Kai wasn't carved up enough, so we sort of put a muffin in and stuff like that. And he looked great. Then he sort of flattened out and started holding water for the other class. But you kept your condition because you didn't you didn't do the anabolic muffin at the beginning. You kept in your chicken and rice.
I kept things so simple, like literally.
Yeah. And that always wins. You know what I mean?
And rice meals, and then obviously a little bit of sodium, a little bit of sugars. But we're talking a couple of bites, a little pump up, and that was it. I can honestly say it's not much more than that, to be honest. So I just tried to keep as tight as possible.
And I actually think you looked better for the overall later on. You got your condition was, especially looking at your glutes. Your glutes were like from the side, they're proper like striated, which I noticed on the video, proper like dry and
I remember towards the back end of the amateur portion of the show, and there was a slight bit of water coming out on your upper body. But then when once that had come out and you'd come back for the pro show, you were even harder, which was but somehow still as full, which was great. So
yeah, Tim's always stressing that he's looking flat, but so he's always texting me. I need to see you, but I've never seen Tim flat, even like if it was to 0 carb for a week. It's just his body doesn't have that flat look. So it's obviously the mind games, the playing in, which I've had all week from all the competitors. My phone's been going off crazy, but it is what it is. It's to be expected.
Yeah.
Last week's crazy, man. I can honestly say, like, the thoughts that go through your head, I'm a flat, and then you'll see, I can feel myself coming down. So I'm thinking, I'm flat, man. Like, I'm not going to be able to hold this muscle.
But your weight didn't change, did it? Your weight stayed 13, didn't it?
Yeah, 13 on show day. So it stayed around generally. So I probably lost about, if I'm going to do the 4-ball classic, only about 2 pounds. But in my head, I was flat.
Yeah.
I looked shit.
That 2 pounds, you looked 4 or 5 pounds bigger. Obviously, you were, harder, grainier. So that's why I say to people, they're always chasing the weight, the scales and the weight. And I had one of the lads at my gym, and he wants to compete next year. He goes, look, I don't want to drop below 13 stone. I said, it doesn't matter what you weigh. We're not going to weigh you on stage. It's how you look. I said, you're probably going to end up, I said, I don't know, just probably about 11 stone on stage. And he goes, no, I will be bigger than that. I said, look, trust me, you're going to be a lot lighter than you actually think. So don't go obsessed with the scales. It's how you look in the mirror.
Yeah.
You don't have to be 13 stone. You can be whatever you weigh, when you're ready, that's what you weigh. Yeah. So what's your plans next, Tim, for the future? Is it this season over now?
I'm going to be looking to just take a little bit of time out, jump into off season. I always believe any show I do, I need to come better now. I think, especially as I tend to be getting to the stage where I'm doing a good couple of shows. This will be my 10th show. I've prepped for review side, number 10. So we've done 10 shows together now. So I always see it as always need to improve. So it's me looking at, all right, then I got that first place in my class. I got that first place in the pro men's bodybuilding. What would it be to get that bout next time? Because that was my experience being that close.
That was so close between you and
crazy,
Leon.
Man.
Yeah, obviously they had you on stage for a long time, and it was going to and fro, and they couldn't make up their minds up. So I know it was very, very close between you and Leon. I mean, you obviously had the muscle density, the thickness, the condition. He had the shape, so it could have gone either way. But it's one of them, isn't it?
I can honestly say that's the most intense battle I've had on stage, to the point where at the end we're doing a pose down and all kind of things. It's literally that was something else. But what I will give to Leon is he's friendly. We had a laugh backstage, we had a laugh on stage, and it's a respectable champ. So
yeah, I met. Well, he was at the 4-ball show. That's when I first met him, and a very friendly guy. We stayed in touch on Instagram, and so it's no hard feelings in it. He's a good champion. He's humble as well. Yeah.
I'll tell you a joke.
Go on.
All week, me and him was messaging throughout the week, and he's saying, he said to me, I reckon me and you are going to be on the overall stage
Did
together.
he say that?
Yeah, we was messaging each other through the week saying, yeah, we're going to be on the overall stage together. And it's crazy because it actually ended up happening. I remember, being backstage and agreeing with him and saying, I remember he was going to say we was going to be on backstage together on the overall stage. And now look, it's happening. So it's a bit of a crazy one, to be honest, but definitely good experience. That's memories. I
think, obviously, looking at you this time now compared to last time, the biggest difference I've seen in your physique was, I'm not going to say your chest because your chest is huge. I know your legs, your quads, and obviously hamstrings. I think that's, and a few people down the gym, obviously, when you stripped off in the leg room, that's the first thing people noticed was the density in your legs, especially your quads, your front quads. They looked a lot. They sort of balance your the rest of your physique now. So obviously, before your legs lacked a little bit of sweep, but now I think it's caught up. Do you think the same?
Yeah, definitely. It's been one thing that I've put a lot of work in. Obviously, coming back in from off season and stuff, it's been one thing that I've put a lot of work in. I suppose this is one of the reasons why now I'm going into off season, because I always believe that when I come back on stage, I want to bring a shocking, undeniable package. So I want to bring something that does have the wow factor now.
But you want to give people, show people the improvements where you've made them, don't you? What do you think, Joe? Where do you think Tim improved from his last outing?
From what I can remember, because I remember you were posing in the gym, and downstairs where the old deadlift platform was, and you were really tight in the back shots and your shoulders. You couldn't get your arms back properly, and
you know why? Because his chest is too big.
Yeah,
so it's like pausing. We don't get that problem, Joe. We can get our arms right back.
No, yeah. But yeah, I think from behind, I know you mentioned the quads, but hamstrings definitely come up a lot fuller. From the front, obviously quads density there. I think because your muscles so full and round in your upper body, I don't think your legs were undersized. I just think, now that you've built that extra density, it's brought a more balanced shot, and you can tell that in your most muscular and your front lat as well.
So what have you been doing with your regards to leg training, Tim? Anything?
To be honest,
anything different?
Been training at Pure Gym side.
That's the secret, man. Have they got a Cybex hack squat?
No Cybex hack squat at all, man. You know what it is, to be honest with you? It's just been consistency. So I always say consistency and having more time. Obviously, career-wise, my career has changed. So
do you train legs? Do you train legs once a week?
I train legs twice a week, actually.
Yeah. And just split it up, hamstrings and quads, or both.
I have one day that's a bit more ham focused, one day that's a bit more quad focused. But generally, I'd say I do them twice a week, and I literally will hammer them. It's just been one of them things that's worked for me. Before I'd never do it. I was always a once a week guy, but recently I have changed it. I do the 2 leg days a week, and it's.
And do you train anything else twice a week, or is it just legs that you saw?
Nah, literally, it's just been
legs.
So it's been something I've been hammering, and it just seems to work. Generally, I'm a big compounds man. I'm a big lover of compounds, squats, and deadlifts, especially deadlifts. I love deadlifts, so obviously that's where the hams come from. I'm a big fan of deadlifts. So
stiff legs or normal conventional deadlifts?
I do mix. So normally I'll do the RDLs, stiff legs, and conventional deadlifts. It's something that I'm quite strong at, and I enjoy doing. So I find I do generally tend to do a lot and put a lot of weight on. So
it builds that density and thickness in your lower back, doesn't it? And hamstrings, glutes.
It helps majorly in terms of building up my hamstrings. I'm not gonna lie.
I remember the last time you trained legs with me, Tim, was you and Tony. Do you remember?
I can remember.
Tried one of my leg workouts.
Yeah, leg days are something different, you know what I mean?
He didn't come back since.
Nah.
I think that was the first and last time we trained legs, wasn't it, Tim?
It's not. I can honestly say it's a different kind of leg day, you know what I mean? Their little Saturday leg days they used to have.
I remember training legs with you, Tim.
Hey?
I remember training legs with you and you're prepping 20
It's different. So
when you're prepping, you need someone to push you through leg day because it's hard. It's hard enough, normal without when you're not dieting, but you need the extra push when you're sort of on low carbs and you're tired. So it's good to have someone to train legs with. Yeah. Any sort of so do you think you'll have next year off, Tim, or do you think you'll?
Nah, I wanna come back. Probably do, because now obviously with the GBO I can do the pro shows.
Yeah.
So hopefully I can do one of the pro shows there and try and go for one of the cash prizes or go for that international. I've always wanted to do like an international competition. That's on my books now.
Yeah.
Compete abroad.
Experience.
That is one thing that I want to do next year, or go for a cash prize. So just try and push myself to a further standard. I suppose, you know, doing other federations like PCA and this and that, sometimes these opportunities don't come. So that's one thing I've noticed with NFM. When these opportunities come, I might as well go for them. So the opportunity to win a cash prize or go abroad, I'm more like.
Yeah, you've definitely got the physique. I mean, that, you know, that would do well abroad.
Yeah.
I know they had a show in Rome a few weeks ago, and obviously they got the Texas show in, I think that's end of the year, but standard, that's crazy, and there's like big prize money as well. So, you know, if you're in shape, you might as well do it.
They like that granite style physique as well in the European judges, don't they? So
yeah, and that's what Tim's got. So I think he'll fare very well.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so we're going to wrap up the show. Obviously, I don't know. It's Joe's past his bedtime. He's got to make his bed. Actually, is that from this morning?
No, I just need to change the duvet cover. That's all.
Okay. Joe's just got back off holiday to where did you go? Greece?
Yeah, I was in Rhodes. Yeah. I was in Rhodes.
And as you can see, he's come back with a nice tan.
Lovely and slightly burned. So, you know.
Tim, have you got any holidays planned for the year?
No, melanin.
Have you got any holidays planned for the year?
Nah, no holidays planned for this year now. It's graft. Build up my little business, do what I've got to do. Enjoy some off season and just enjoy training generally. How about yourself?
Just tell. Well, I'm going to. I don't want to rub it in your face, but I'm going to Las Vegas and Texas in August. We're going to do as much filming as possible. Do a few gym tours over there, and September I'm going back to Dubai to do a few gym videos over there. Yeah, so it's holiday and a bit of work. Yeah. So Tim, obviously Tim currently works at Pure Gym in West Brom or West Midlands. So how can people get in touch if they want to get in touch with your training or anything like that?
Guys, follow Tim Jones Swole Fitness. Direct message me. Let me know, guys. Personal training, online coaching. It's the kind of thing I'm pushing right now.
I'll put all the links in the box below.
Where we're going. So it's my new journey, to be honest. It has helped a lot. So hop on. You want to get in some good shape.
Give Tim a follow. Drop a message if you need any help. He's had a good teacher. Joe, how can people follow you?
Joseph Bodybuilding on Instagram.
Obviously, you've got your own podcast as well.
Yeah, got my own podcast, Off the Script, Instagram, OTS Bodybuilding Podcast, I think.
When's the next one going to be?
We need to do one, actually. We've had a little hiatus because
you need to get Tim on there.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, I'll be down for that, man. When you're ready, Joe.
Yeah, we'll get you on.
Tim's a star now.
He's a pro.
I'll get him on.
Yeah, we haven't done any pros on for a while, so.
Well, he's a fresh pro, so
exactly.
No excuses.
Let's go, man. When you're ready.
Yeah, so I just want to say thank you both for coming on to my first ever podcast. Really appreciate you taking your time out. Joe, I know I seen you at the gym an hour ago, so really appreciate you taking an hour of your time to come on. Also, you, Tim, thank you very much for coming on. Definitely. And hopefully we can come back on again in a few months' time. We could have other things to talk about and just generally come on here and chat about bodybuilding and whatever. So thank you very much.
All right.
See you soon.
Catch you later, guys.